Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian own, nothing control everything. Just want to thank you all for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the vault, episode 724, interview with Dr. Bay. Definitely thankful for him coming our way today, and we definitely are going to do our best to bring the best information your way today. So, Dr. Bay, you there today?
Yes,
Greetings, greetings. How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing great and getting graded just like you.
That's awesome. I definitely appreciate you coming through today and sharing your good word today. What do you got to say?
Well, I got a lot to say depending on what all I need to bring your way.
Well, definitely appreciate you coming this way, Dr. Bay. As always, we do our best to bring impactful information about business, trusteeship on this particular channel. And so today, we wanted to talk about a variety of topics, give people a better idea of who you are. And so, Dr. Bay, we've done introductions in previous episodes with you, but today we want to talk about you being retired. How long have you been retired, Dr. Bay, from a formal job?
I don't know that I ever worked a normal job, but I'm I've been doing what I'm doing for the last this will be 34 years,
Okay, so the
but
last 34 years of your life, you haven't had to go out and produce income.
I haven't gone out and produced income. That's true.
Okay, and so at what age did you start your first business?
I was 8 years old.
Okay, and what year how old were you when you became a millionaire?
Well, I don't remember exactly how old I was, but somewhere back in the 70s.
Okay, so a millionaire in the 70s. You saw $1 million. Was that in your hands or just revenue through the company?
Well, it was revenue through the company.
Okay, great. And so, what was the best year in business you had? What was the best the revenue?
Um, Totally through the company, a little over $9 million.
Okay. And so, how many people were working for you at that time?
And if I'm not mistaken, there were 93 people.
Okay. And what inspired you to get into that business that you got into and you built it to $9 million in revenue?
Um, Understanding how to help people, and that most people had been misled in many areas economically, especially what to do to obtain and maintain their wealth.
Okay. And so you went into a wealth business, correct?
Yeah, estate planning,
Oh,
basically,
estate planning.
doing
Okay.
what to do and
Now,
how
you
to do.
you're called a doctor, so did you go to medical school?
Yes,
Did you pass medical school?
I went. I went through it.
Well, did you get the degree? You got the degree, correct?
Well, I got several degrees. My brother used to say that other people go to school because they have to, and I go to school because I just like going to school and messing with teachers. So I, I went to school in a lot number of areas, and I did enjoy going to school.
Okay, so for the medical field, what was your practice supposed to be?
Well, I was going to go into psychiatry, but I was kind of turned off with the medical field in some ways, even though my whole family had been in medicine, because of what a young doctor that was one of our instructors asked us, which was what was the one thing that medical doctors do. And there were about 49 of us. None of us came up with the right answer. And he said, surgery. And he explained to us about how doctors don't do the test, whether it's urine or blood or whatever else it is, or all the other things that, and neither do they make up the prescription for all the medical help and all that, but that they literally do surgery. And if it's not their area of medicine, then they refer you to another area of medicine, and when you do the surgery there, they still get paid a percentage of it. But anyway, that's
Okay. So we're going to talk about some sides to a business today and just want to hear your thoughts on them so people can get a better understanding of, you clearly built a business. It was successful. You've been able to live off the proceeds for an extended period of time. So we want you to share when it comes to the idea, the product or service, what do you think makes a good business, a good product, or a good service? Something that it can
okay.
perform at the best. What does the best that it best look like as far as product or service?
Well, that's a good question, because and a very difficult question to answer, because it depends on what field it's in. And as far as I'm concerned, everything has a righteous and an unrighteous side to it. So it depends on whether the person is doing it righteously, which is to benefit all concerned, or unrighteously to benefit themselves or a few other people.
Okay.
But to harm those others are in one way or another.
Okay. So let's talk about the board. What would you say about the board of a company?
Well, a board is a mastermind group of people that come together that are to make decisions that would benefit the purpose of the organization in many ways, ongoingly. And many people don't realize that, legally speaking, a board has to have a board meeting, and the board has to have the majority of the people that's on the board at the meeting, and the board must decide on doing something and vote on it and bring it into existence. But their voting on it at that meeting does not make it law. It is the next meeting that they have that they approve what happened in the previous meeting by approving the minutes of the past meeting that
Okay.
has whatever rule or regulation is in it.
Okay. Okay. That's appreciate that, Dr. B. Thank you. So you said it's not one person. Can a board be one person?
Nope, you have to have at least three.
Okay, so you
But
need
they really could be, there are three office positions that you got to have, and it really could be only two. You got to have a chairperson or a president, and you got to have a secretary, and you got to have a treasurer. You got to have those three. Now, the president can be a treasurer, and the secretary can be a treasurer, but the secretary and the president cannot be the same person. So it has to have at least two people for three offices.
Okay. And so, Dr. Bay, did you go to school for business?
Yeah, I did that too.
Okay, so you learned business formally in secondary. And so, do you think, based off what we're talking about and your experience in business, that it would be a good idea to go to college to learn how to build a business, or would it be best just for a person to just strike it out and wing it?
Well, it depends on what college and what they are training you in, because the major thing I know that you need to do in business is to be able to think. And the average person is taught to believe and recall and not to think. And so
Okay,
it's
so
one of the reasons I like directors, boards of directors, because usually if you have a group of people, the collective consciousness of them creates various thought patterns that can benefit themselves and others too.
okay, appreciate you for sharing that. And so you're saying that, well, okay, let's be clear. That would you say it depends on the school, uh, and so the education aspect of it, Dr. Bay, is it one of those things where you think, would you recommend your children to go to a college? What are your thoughts on college for business and learning it?
Well, it it so much depends on what there's so many different businesses in so many different ways. So I don't have any one thought on it. Um, it depends on what the business is and what you intend to, what you don't know, and what your family may have orientated you into or not orientated you into. But it really boils down to good business. Good boils down into good thinking.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to
And
say.
then,
So here we go, Dr. Bay. So excuse me for going there. So all right, Dr. Bay. So there's a book called Think and Grow Rich. It doesn't say work and grow
yes.
rich. It says think and grow rich. Could you share with the listening audience what thinking technically is, as because a lot of people say they're overthinkers, Dr. Bay. They say, oh, I overanalyze things. I take a while to make decisions, and that's that. So what's the difference between recall and belief, which most people are pretty clear about, versus thinking? And please elaborate specifically on what is considered thinking.
Okay. Here again, thinking involves what makes sense and is demonstratable, as far as I'm concerned. Um, if you think of something that is not something that you are intending to do, because it is your thoughts and subsequent action that creates your world in every aspect. And so, if you don't think thoughts that you can put subsequent action with them, then you having them will not manifest.
Okay, you there, Dr. Bay?
Because you have to have, yes,
Okay,
can you hear me?
yes, continue.
Because you have to have both your thoughts and subsequent action. And most truly successful businesses take their thoughts far beyond what the average person will do in just thinking. Because if they didn't, they would not be and have the wealth. People are coming to them because of whatever their product or service that is beyond what they could get to the average person. be it righteous or unrighteous or good or bad.
Okay. All right. And so, can you comment that the continue the dialogue on what's the difference between thinking versus belief and recall?
Okay, belief is literally feeling like something that has never been proved or demonstrated is accurate. You feel like it is, or you think that it is. And that's belief. Um, it's interesting if you get where you really understand the energy found in spirit, and especially in letters in English and where they're located, you'll see that in the middle of belief is lack, because they can't demonstrate and show. And if you can demonstrate and show, people don't believe, they know. And I use the example of swimming, for an example. Let's say that you believe somebody can swim, but I take you to a swimming hole and I jump in the water and start swimming, and there's other people in that swimming. Now, you don't believe it now no more. Now you know it because people can demonstrate and show it. But if you're still believing, it means you don't know and nobody's going to demonstrate and show. Because anytime that and recalling is going to these libraries and recalling what somebody said about something that may or may not be accurate.
Okay. Okay, so we talked about masterminding with other individuals. And it sounds like this conversation goes into what you got to do, which is meditate or have some level of peace and quiet that allows you to listen to a knowing as opposed to a believing within yourself, correct?
Well, no one is demonstrating and showing. And whether it comes from you or someone else to you, it depends on what they demonstrate and show. Then you really know. Or you do it to yourself. You demonstrate and show. And then you really know.
Okay. Dr. Bay, how do you recruit these people to your board?
Well, I go according to their spirit and their energy and what they are divinely designed to do, by getting them to understand their reason for being and the purpose of their pathway that they should follow in order to accomplish it. Now, that's another story and involves a whole bunch of understanding that the average person don't know, because you must remember you can't do something you don't know and never thought of it. And most of our world we don't know and never thought of. And people that keep on thinking of and showing and demonstrating it and getting where they can know is the people that obviously end up in a system that growth, be it happiness, health, knowledge, and wealth, comes from. And they're all not combined. It's just like my son was telling me, that it's almost a shame because he produces for a number of entertainers. He was saying it's almost a shame that they get the wealth part. And because they use the money to destroy themselves by the food they eat and the drugs and cheating and all the other things they can do. That's unrighteous. So it's not a single answer, and nobody has all the answers to nothing. But
Well,
it is a
where did you meet them, Dr. Bay? Where do you meet people that you recruit? Actually, could you set the standard for the people that you like to recruit. So when you sat down and did interviews for people to join your mastermind, when we know what we're saying, we say mastermind. It's not a literal thing, but at least having others come together to make decisions. When you did that, how did you originally recruit for your first original company?
Okay. I I I I set up three masterminds pretty much at the same time. One for my family, one for my business, and one because I was president of a community organization that they say had around 30,000 people in it. Um, I know that, and I demonstrate, and because your thoughts have power and their energy, and the major energy is the energy of electricity, and most of us don't realize how much energy is put into thoughts and what you do and what you don't do. But anyway, if what I did was geared my masterminding around what the organization's purpose was to accomplish. And I know, just like I demonstrate, that you can take a flashlight and you got a one battery flashlight, it'll come on and make a light. But if you put two batteries in it, and it'll make a light that is twice as two times as bright, not just twice as bright, but two times as bright. But you can have a 5 battery flashlight, but if you turn one battery in that backwards, it don't work. So in masterminding, you gotta have a group of people that it has a common interest. And in my case, back then, it was my family having a common interest, my business having a common interest in what they want, and the community having a common interest in what they want. And so, because if one person in that, then there he goes again with those ridiculous ideas or da 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 da, then it's going to block the electrical flow of energy that is divinely designed to make the business grow in the united consciousness thereof.
Okay. So could you give us a success story of you masterminding with the family, the business, or the community? Which one is one of your favorite stories of what you mastermind, like the process of mastermind, and then what happened?
Well, I could use either one, but I'll use my family for an example. Um, we lived in a small little house. Wasn't that small really? We lived up on the second floor of a building, and my children and my wife, we started talking about what we would really like to have in a house, and that's what we talked about. And I was out, and ran into a person that they were moving, and I liked the building, so I went up and saw the building. I didn't know that the building was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright at the time, but I went over to the people, and because I just liked the yard and all that, that it looked like, went inside and it was really laid out like we had thought about. And so I asked them, and the guy that had come and was there said that he had moved to Florida, and he was moving his family to Florida, and they hadn't even put the house on the market. So I went and got my wife, which was a school teacher, and my kids were in private school, and I went and got them out of school and brought them all by this house to look at it. And they went, wow. And went inside and went around, and they really went, wow. And I talked to the man that owned the house, and he told me that, well, I don't forgot some ridiculous amount. I don't forgot what he said. And at any rate, I didn't feel like it was something we could afford. And so when my wife and kids came out of the house, I was telling them I would like to get the house. And the lady that owned the house said, "Wait a minute," said, you can have the house." I said, "But I don't know that I qualify to get that much money that is needed." She said, "Look, we own the house. You can pay us for the house. Then now we can start out with whatever." And so her husband that was standing there had quoted me that price, started laughing. He said, "I never thought about all that." And so we went ahead and got the house. But I had an interesting situation like as far as the business stuff. I ended up getting the entire fifth floor in downtown Chicago on LaSalle Street, and it's in the heart of the downtown area. And once again, a masterminding group that was in a small building on that, in that same community where I was, and had an office up on the second floor. But we had the entire second floor, but it wasn't nothing close to what this was. But all of them, when I took them down there, they saw these private offices, and they said, "I want this and I want that and that." And when they told me the price of it, I thought, no way could I do it. And then one of them, I remember, said, "Well, this is what we've been masterminding about." So I went to St. Louis, Missouri, and talked to the people down there that owned that I was using as my principal carrier, and they said, "Look, that if you really want it, we'll get it for you, and we'll make the payments for you for the first 6 months if you're going to do all the things you say you're going to do and that you're doing." And so we got it. I could go on, but that's enough.
Okay, and so what I was thinking when you were saying that, or what was going through my mind was, what were your goals personally at that time? Were you thinking about building a $1 billion business? Were you thinking about having big business? How big were you thinking about your business being? Because you say that people manifest their thoughts. So if they're manifesting their thoughts righteously or unrighteously, directly or indirectly, what were you thinking at that time in your life when you were building a business like that and those things were happening for you in your life?
Well, I'm knowing that my energy is the energy that is in power right now. I have in my fourth position, which is my work position, something for whomever I do something for. You know, it's interesting, and we could probably get some of the people that I've done some of this with on the call. Um, but I didn't go and get one insurance company and market them. I researched what insurance company had the best product for the people, not which one's going to pay me the highest commission. Because I knew I was going to get commission off. I was going to get which one it was, but I didn't. I went to whatever had the best product for my members, and I was able to do it. I was able to end up with 7 or 8 companies, and that had the best products. Because if you're 35 years old, now another person is 65 years old, and you go into business together, and you want to set up a retirement income, you use a different type of plan than you would if you had both of them 35. And you need different companies because the amount of income and what would be produced in that period of time would vary from individual to individual. So we didn't just sell insurance because we had insurance. We sold insurance based on the needs of the clients that we had, and not on what product we make the most money off of. So my thing is always, now and then, is to do what's best for the people, because I realize whoever services the most people make the most money, and I want to always do what's best for all that is concerned.
Okay. Okay. Well, Dr. Bay, I definitely appreciate you coming through and coming our way and sharing what you had to say. We definitely want to do an interview about some of the business things that we talked about with you in the past, about the success way, and really want people to reach out. Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, it's Christian at trustchristian.com. You can reach out if you want to connect with Dr. Bay. Feel free to reach out and we'll connect you with Dr. Bay. Dr. Bay, is there anything you would like to say about business today and African indigenous descent people really making it a point to take hold of their rightful place back on planet Earth, especially in the northern and the western hemisphere? Could you talk about what you would want to say to them as far as business and ownership and being of service, being of value, not just to themselves but to many others as well?
Well, the only way to be a true value to yourself is to be of value to others too, because it is that combination of whoever services the most people that earns the most money. And so, but we want to service them in a righteous way. And so that is the type of thing that I put together to do, is to not just benefit me or to benefit you, but to benefit everybody that comes through in a righteous way, based on them being able to do what they say. We got to realize that something for nothing is not the righteous way, because you reap what you sow, and if you sow nothing, and you'll reap nothing. And so we got to stop looking for something for nothing and start looking for what we really must do to manifest for ourselves and others too what we really want to come true in our life in every way, every second of every day. Because your thoughts are manifesting even when you're asleep, based on what you do and bring through, and what you say to yourself, and most of all, what you do for yourself that will benefit yourself and everybody else. So there's a lot of things I could say, but we need to do 2 or 3 things. We need to get accurate, demonstrable knowledge. We need to learn that the average person don't know and has never been taught to know. And so I don't blame mothers, fathers, sisters, brother, aunt, uncle, niece, nephew, cousin, pastor, preacher, pope, prophet. I don't blame any of them, because if they don't know, how can they demonstrate and show and get you to know? And so I want to demonstrate and show and get you to know, because you do what you need to do to benefit yourself and others too in a righteous way, with everything you do and everything you say each and every day.
And the third thing,
Let's see, what was the third thing?
I'm asking you. It says 3 things they should do.
Oh, they should stop lying,
To
do
themselves.
things to love themselves, do things to love. You can't lie. You can't lie to nobody else unless you lie to yourself first. So you need to stop lying. Period. You need to also do things that is. You need to love yourself and not love things that are against you more than you do you. And, they tell this lie that if you knew better, you'd do better. People know better than drinking, smoking, cursing, gambling, and all that type of stuff. They know better. But do they do better? No. So you got to love yourself enough to put as your priorities what's best for you and others too.
Okay.
And most of all, you got to think righteous thoughts and do righteous actions in everything, because it is definitely your thoughts and subsequent action that is creating your world.
Okay. Well, thank you for Dr. coming through today, Dr. Bay. Appreciate you for coming this way, sharing your words of wisdom today, and you just, embodying and sharing so much. We know your value, and we've always appreciated you, and, we think the world of you. And so we wanted to share you with the world because there are so many people that, especially of the African indigenous descent group, they they don't handle criticism well. They don't handle tough times well, and we can just see that based off of the trends. But we also want to address those
Yeah.
things and share solutions. And so,
Well, the third thing that I didn't mention is that we definitely need to stop being for everything and everybody that is against us at its core or at their core, and start being for and everything that is for us at its core or at their core.
definitely agree with that. We definitely going to do an episode about that actually here coming up, Dr. Bay, which is really talking about, like you say, unifying with the, you know, it's interesting, Dr. Bay. We were looking at something yesterday, and it shared with us that we really want to lock into the thought process of focusing on the best instead of focusing on what's right and what's wrong. That tends to lead people in an emotional spiral. Whereas if you say you're focusing on the best decision or the worst decision, they'll allow you to look at things objectively. What's the best move you can make right now? What's the best use of your time right now? Instead of saying, oh, yeah, well, I could do this and it'll work. Well, you can do it and it'll work. But is that the best thing you could be doing? Are you doing the best thing you can do for yourself and for others? And so we know that this is an episode that will help out many others, Dr. Bay, because there's so many that they just kind of say, "Oh, Dr. Bay, I don't know the way." Like you say, they're in the average pool right now of mediocrity, and they don't want to be in the pool of mediocrity, Dr. Bay. They don't want to be in the pool of average. They want to be above average. They want to be able to express themselves at their highest level, the best version of themselves. So we definitely appreciate you for coming this way, Dr. Bay, and once again sharing your wisdom today. We definitely going to do some more episodes here coming up for the people, especially African indigenous descent people. Dr. Bay is a jewel and gem in our community, a relic, and we want to do our best to, share his value, as he does have a strong bloodline and a long history of being able to work with our people and help them get in the right positions. And so Dr. Bay is someone that has helped us put in place a system, and ultimately, if you don't have a system in place, you're working for a system. So we appreciate Dr. Bay for training us in the system. If you would like to find out what that is and get involved, you can feel free to reach out Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com. But we appreciate you big time, Dr. Bay, because a lot of people they are what you call average, and they don't like it. And if they want to make a change, they got to make the change. We look forward to hearing from you all, reaching out, wanting to get the information. But at the end of the day, we know that the value is by serving. And he who services the most people makes the most money. Y'all know that through online businesses. So we definitely appreciate you, Dr. Bay, imparting some wisdom on us today, helping us all think about things in a better way, and really highlighting how powerful it is to think, and the importance of thinking, and the power of thinking, and thinking in general. So we appreciate you big time, Dr. Bay. Look forward to doing another episode, bringing it our people's way. Peace and joy, everybody, today.